And we're back.
Whoa.
Awesome. We just heard that awesome performance.
Thank you.
Okay. So I'm going to skip around here a little bit.
I
with these
remember that
questions.
performance very fondly. It was a great performance that day.
The Back 40s Last Waltz show has some awesome stuff with you guys, but the camera didn't get over to you.
Oh, yeah.
Because you're in the corner in the dark, and I was so bummed. I was like, oh, this is awesome, the horn section, but it doesn't really work if I can't see you in the video.
Yeah.
I think they didn't have enough cameras, and it was dark in that corner. It was crowded because you guys are so awesome.
Well, thanks. Well, you just needed to hear us, because if you saw us, a lot of people, their hearts would have exploded.
Well, the horn section's usually in the back anyway, aren't they?
Hey.
Okay, these are some questions related to, I guess, some aspiring musicians or other musicians who might want to learn this or learn some tips. But actually, it might not be a good question because everybody's been out of practice performing lately, getting in that rut of that. But if you have a gig coming up, what are some of the things you do to prepare for a gig or performance? I mean, obviously rehearsal, but
Prepare. Besides a good spot checking at rehearsal, I think it's just kind of remembering my cues and doing a lot of mental prep these days. I hate to say like half of what I do in Hullabaloo is now muscle memory, but I could still just play a lot of that on its own. The big thing I do try to do is since I have more recordings, capability between my phone and whatever I have here, is I try to catch a little bit of something from that rehearsal so I can maybe like work a solo a little bit or try and clean up a part that I was botching in the rehearsal. Maybe, a lot of spot checking, making sure everything's clean. The day of performance, it's all about, keeping the mind clear and making sure I can get to the gig on time.
Yep. Yep.
Making sure I'm loose and warmed up and relaxed. It's almost like I have to switch off my overthinking and just go.
Yep. Yeah. And I think recording yourself is great for rehearsals because you can really improve by doing that and listening back. While you're listening, you're also practicing. You're practicing actively getting your mind engaged with what you need to do.
Oh yeah, and then you also realize how bad you were playing it.
Yeah.
It's a humbling, very humbling experience. It's why I hated listening to older recordings of Hullabaloo for a long time. I was like, I played it like crap anyways. But then I finally forced myself to. Yep. And I was like, you look back and you think, oh, well, it wasn't as bad.
Yeah.
And I think the more you do listen back to yourself, it does give a healthy critique of what it is, and what you're doing. So you can fix it if it sounds awful.
Yep. So as far as gear, I mean, recording stuff, you at a gig, or you just basically need to bring your trombone, and that's it, right?
Most of the time, yeah. But I did a lot of soul searching when coronavirus was coming out, and I realized I always use someone else's mic, and I always get really close up on it, to the point where I know my chops have touched mics before. So I got my own mic, so that if I do kind of just all over it, it's mine.
Yep.
But yeah, I don't have to bring a lot for Hullabaloo gigs, and that's been kind of a lucky thing. But I'm usually there. I usually try to be one of the first ones there to help the drummers and the guitars haul their shit in, because I think sometimes they look at me and go, "You lucky son of a..."
Yeah. Yeah. So the reason I ask is your gig preparation, like for a guitarist with a pedal board and pedals. The only thing I'm really stressed about ever is the technology, or a cable. So that's where I put
a lot more points of failure, man. I just got to make sure my slides are lubed.
Yeah. yeah.
Slido Mix. It's the best stuff ever.
And you bringing your own mic.
Sponsor this video, Slido Mix, please.
Bringing your own mic is good. If you invest in the mic that makes your instrument sound the best, the proper mic. Mm-hmm. And if you think about it, those mics are disgusting.
Yeah.
So
Well,
I started bringing my own mic always.
I'm way more conscious of that now. That hit me
Yeah,
like a brick about March.
yeah,
And I was like, I'm getting at least an SM50. This is my vocal mic. This is what, a 57 or a 58. Yeah.
yeah.
I'm not bringing a mic to a
Yep.
gig from now on.
Right, and I mean they can mic the amp with their mic.
Mm-hmm.
I'll use it for the vocals, and they are using the same mic I bring anyway. It's 58.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody use for vocals that's the standard. I don't
There's
need
a
a noise.
Sennheiser that I want to get for a horn mic, and I can't remember the model of it, but it's kind of like long and like rectangular and flat. That's what I want to get for my horn, but it's like $500.
I think I know that one. I think no, it was Sennheiser. And how do you say this? Neumann? Is it Neumann? Newman?
Neumann.
Yeah. Those, I think the vocalist I worked with, she invested in a really nice vocal mic, and it's really nice. I think it was a Neumann.
Oh, geez.
Yeah. Sennheiser, great mics too, for sure. I think I'm using the same one. Are you using is it 58 or are you using
I'm using a dynamic mic here. It's
okay, yep. Awesome. That's what I have in my bag.
oh yeah.
Mine rattles a little bit though.
Mm-hmm.
Colin he still uses the mic his dad used.
No kidding.
So that mic is like 40 years old, maybe 30, 40 years old, and it's kicking. It works great.
It's an SM58, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah.
It is.
It probably got beat to hell.
It's all dented, of course.
Good.
Yeah.
That means it works great.
And that's his own family germs on there.
Yeah.
They're long gone.
Yeah, that's different. It creeps me out how much I would do this. You know?
Yeah. I go up close, and I've had two boys in my life, and changing diapers, they kicked my teeth.
Ouch.
And so I crack my teeth, and then I continue to keep cracking them on the mic. Like I step up too quickly because I'm excited. And
Yeah.
my front teeth are all cracked from.
Knowing how to work the mic is important.
Yeah.
I've been trying to get myself to project a little more and stay off the mic, especially when if I have to go through for like a loud like big note. It's one of those. If you're too close up, you just distort the sound entirely, and then you sound way too loud, and it hurts people's ears out out at the venue. So you back off, and you can kind of sing way back here, and it doesn't like cause your equipment to explode.
Right. Yep. I've been told frequently, but when I'm singing in a mix of singers, and I'm not the main one, stand back. Yeah.
Yeah.
Some of these questions, if they're kind of big in general, and we can, if it doesn't make sense to answer them, that's fine. We can move on. But I'm always curious, and I have this broken into two parts too.
Okay.
Because part of being a musician and playing music is playing with other people.
Yeah.
And that can be challenging sometimes because there's different personalities. It doesn't matter what task you're doing. It's challenging to work with a group sometimes. But could you describe an ideal bandmate? Like, what are some characteristics? Now, the second part of this question is ideal musician. So I found that they're often separate things. They can be related.
As far as an ideal bandmate, regardless of the skill level, like a healthy dose of patience for you're not always going to have somebody who's going to learn a lick. And I think in my earlier years, I did struggle to really pick up on parts, especially just by ear. That took me a while to really get the hang of. Nowadays, it's a little bit different. I can just kind of pop it out and run with it a little bit easier than I used to. But it took me, trying to learn a part. If your style is to just go by ear, it takes a lot of repetition for maybe newer folks and stuff like that. So I guess a pretty solid patient one that can communicate kind of the direction of the song too, in a way that everybody sort of understands, and that can be difficult too, because everybody has like an idea. Like I'll be like part A, part B, part C, and then somebody will be like, oh, that's a verse and that's the chorus, and I'll be like, well, technically B is part the chorus and part the this, and then it's also a bridge, and then just it kind of breaks down from there. So you got to relearn how to communicate where you're at in the song, and sometimes you got to know where you're going. But I guess it's somebody who like anyone who. And then you pay attention to certain details too. Yeah, those are qualities in an ideal bandmate. Ideal musician, Jacob Collier. Sorry, everyone.
That was great. I love that. I think
it's hard to say what you want in an ideal musician, but I think a lot of what makes an ideal bandmate will translate into what makes an ideal musician.
Yeah.
But somebody who can, obviously the better you are, the easier it is to just put a song together. Be like, play these 5 chords this way, and some musicians can do that. But I think a lot of what makes you a good bandmate will also translate.
Yep. I think that advice goes for anything. I mean, have patience. In anything you're doing, everybody's coming from a different perspective. They've had a different day. Have patience with each other, and it works. It usually works out better.
Oh yeah,
it's hard. It is hard though sometimes, but
sometimes you got to treat it's hard to always treat the band as an escape sometimes, which is kind of how I sometimes look at it. It helps me get the mind off of things, but you also got to I use it as a way to kind of let go. And sometimes another band, sometimes like someone's having a bad day and they'll be like, well, why isn't this right? Ah!
Yep.
So that happens.
It does. Yep.
Sometimes you got to just be able to talk it out.
Yep, for sure. And I've had gigs where I've had back problems for years, and I've gone to the gig just in a lot of pain. Mm-hmm. We sat down to play a 2-hour set, and I realized for the last 2 hours I didn't even thought about that. Mm-hmm. It didn't even enter my mind.
Somehow you had perfect posture the whole time.
Yeah,
or at least functioning posture.
Yeah, well, I was relaxed. That helps. It relaxed me. I think that's one of the main things.
When you have 7 beers before your set,
that will relax you too. I would fall asleep, I think.
Oh yeah, 7's too many. But there were times even in college before a concert, I would actually go over to like Tower Inn over in Ipsy and just drink a pint before a jazz concert because I would have a lot of solos and I was like just jittering, so I'd drink a pint and I would actually kind of mellow out a bit.
Yeah, it does help you mellow out. Yep.
I mean, that was sort of an unofficial, like, yeah, I get it if you have one from the director. You just had to be in shape to play and also of legal age, which I was at the time.
Yeah, I think part of that too is you go to the gig and you could be tired all day. You go to the gig and you're setting up and you're on the stage and you start getting lots of energy.
Yeah,
and it's easy. It's nice to just. It's nice to just let me just tap it down a little bit, and relax a little bit because I'm going to play too fast.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh man, the other part is like even if you're feeling like crap, like if you get on stage and you're like, oh man, if I play like how I feel right now, it's going to be bad. I can't do that to myself. You somehow push yourself to just wake up right then and there.
Yeah, I think a lot of musicians are missing that right now. Like, at the end of the day, I'm tired. Okay, I'm just going to lay down. Sometimes I'd be tired at 10 o'clock and drive, not that late nowadays, but drive to a gig and then work for 6 hours, 8 hours.
Yep.
All right, cool.
I miss gigs. I do. Yep. I do miss gigs.
I've done 2. So one was at a club with no audience and a video crew. So I don't know if that really counts. But we were on a stage with the sound system.
Was that at Otis?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I played there with Black Jake and the Carnies. It's a good spot.
Yeah, it's a good spot. Yep, it's a fun room. And then this gig coming up with some Kali, it's at a park, a huge park, and they're only letting 100 people in, so it'll be different too. Everybody wear masks in the audience, and but I think people are hungry for something.
Yeah. It's something we'll give, and we'll I know we'll get out there eventually. We're Hullabaloo's being very careful.
Yeah.
Enough of us feel like they don't have enough adequate like healthcare coverage at the moment to risk it.
Right.
And I feel like I do have adequate healthcare, and I would rather not risk it.
Yeah, it makes sense. I totally understand. And the only gigs we've done are these ones that have very limited risk. Yeah. We actually were masked the whole Otis Supply show with singing. We did it.
I can't wear a mask.
It can be. It can be.
If I can't play and wear a mask.
Right. Yeah, it can be difficult. With in fact, this gig coming up, our sax player's not playing because for that reason.
No,
because I can't.
I mean,
find
they could at least kind of snake it in through, but they'd be playing at a weird angle or something.
It would be weird, yeah. I mean, it makes sense. Just wait. Yep.
Yeah.
That's if it, yeah.
Sucks being a wind instrument when there's a terrible respiratory disease going around.
I guess you'd have to build a plexiglass box, and you'd have to hear the whole mix like on an in-ear monitor. That's the only way you could do it.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I actually did it. Surprisingly enough, I do like freelance gigs, and ironically enough, at a lot of churches because they pay a lot. They pay well during Christmas. And one of the ones I played at, they had they had just this completely isolated drum booth, you know.
Yep.
So I think just a handful of those,
and
we're set.
Yeah, I took my oldest son to a circus years and years ago. Barnum and Ringley, Bailey and Barnum, one of those. And I was mesmerized by the band. The band was all divided into totally sound isolated.
Uh-huh. And
they had set pieces they're playing, but they're all awesome musicians. And they were improvising to the show together. And they were I watched the band the whole time. I didn't see anything in the tents or the circles.
Wow.
But the band was amazing. I'm like, wow, that was my favorite part. But yeah, they had that down. But that looked like a $100,000 setup. just the
they probably
divisions.
got paid pretty well to do that too.
Oh yeah, they probably tour all year round. Yep.
Oh yeah.
Okay, cool. A few more questions. Let me see what I want to ask here. That one's lame. That one's lame. I'm going to ask one more. This one isn't lame, but it's not fun, but it might be important for somebody. We're talking a little about the business of being a musician.
Yeah.
Now, you're not. Do you rely? Obviously, probably not right now. Totally on music for your living, right?
No. I have a day job.
Yeah.
I sell insurance.
Yeah. Well, but still, regardless, you're still in the music business, and you've had to deal with that over the years.
Yep.
So this will be very relevant for probably most musicians.
Mm-hmm.
Not the ones that are touring and have the great gigs, but what are some of the
sons of?
Did you say Derek Trucks?
I said lucky sons.
Sons. I thought you said sons of master musician or something. Yeah, I hear you. Yeah. So what are the most challenging things you've come across? And I know there's probably a huge list, but
in the business,
yeah. You mentioned earlier not getting paid. That's not fun sometimes.
A lot of opportunities to play bigger events might come with like almost a pay-to-play kind of scheme to it, or trying to sort that out is pretty difficult.
Yeah.
Especially ones where like, oh well, you sell some tickets and you get a cut of that, with like no like underlying guarantee at the very least. Those things kind of suck. I think also, how much of it is really just connections, rapport, who you know, who you can talk to, who will talk to you back. There's a little bit of a political aspect to it, and it's sometimes really hard to get a hold of some venues after a while for no reason at all. They just won't call you back. So sometimes you got to know when to cut your losses and move on from places you like to play. The Village Idiot.
I know that room. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. That
they're hard to get through these days. I don't know what's going on with them. Although I can't imagine that they're totally open at the moment.
Right. Yeah.
They're still exactly the same way they always were though. So
okay,
so that at least is good.
Yeah, I've been there in a long time.
Yeah.
Well, that's a great answer because that's really what you're going to face. And I did a lot of those pay to play things like I think Magic Bag.
Yeah.
For a while it was always more work. I mean, I can understand it from the venue's perspective, and I can understand it. The band wants to get out there; they want to be on that stage, but it's always was more work than it was worth.
Yeah.
Than what it actually ended up paying off. I think.
Mm-hmm. Trying to draw a packed house in a event it's not always easy. What if the weather sucks? People aren't going to come out.
Yeah, and you probably don't. You want to spend your time. You want to spend your time doing music and not bugging people.
Yeah,
to buy
to
stuff.
watch your music.
Right? Yeah.
God, that's why I try not to do too much on social media. Like I try to send out a big invite. I honestly don't care about the area. I'll just send an invite, and then I'll just leave it at one, like a couple of weeks ahead of time. In the off chance somebody's like, "Oh, I happen to be in the area that week," but I try not to do too much of that. No personal messages, no going like, "Hey, it'd be awesome if you came to the show" constantly. I find more often than not, like people have just been coming out anyways, or at least before the pandemic, people were just coming on out.
Right. Yeah.
Our last show was at what is it? It was in Chelsea. The what's that tiny
The
place?
Rumpus Room.
Yep,
Rumpus Room?
it was at the Rumpus Room.
Yep.
And like, yeah, it felt kind of empty. There were like 6 people in there for about the first half of our set, but then like it turned around so fast. You also only need like 5 people to walk in there, but but it was packed by the end of the night. So it you never know how no matter what you can do, you won't know like how stuff like that will turn out.
Right. Yep.
The nerves between the biggest fear really is like no one showing up.
Yeah. And I've had that happen a lot. You're so down. You're like, why?
Oh, no one likes me.
Yep, that's a tough one. Especially if you've done a lot of work promoting and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
I think we talked about how the trombone works, right?
Yeah.
It's a slide.
It's a big curly slide thing.
And we got
with
that
a little valve.
We got that homework assignment for anybody listening to see if trombone is used in Indian music.
Yes, it could be.
Let me know.
If not, we'll find a way.
Okay, I think I have 2 more questions. Yeah, I have 2 more questions. I'm going to do a musical one first, and I'm going to do a non-musical one. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay. What if I reverse that? Is that okay?
Yeah.
All right, the musical one. This might be a hard one.
Which one were you going to start with?
I'm going to do the musical one first.
Okay.
Or wait, no, I'm going to do that one first. This might be hard to answer.
Okay.
But can you think of a favorite, like just not a gig, but a song, a piece of music that you performed over the years that was some of your favorite pieces to play? Like, this is just awesome music, or this is so challenging and I got it. It could be that John Cage piece. But for me, it's been some Zappa tunes. Like, it was so satisfying to play those tunes. It was just so much fun.
I mean, I'm the Slime is an easy in on that group. I warm up playing that now.
Yeah.
Just the lick over and over and over. A little bit challenging, kind of gets you a good workout.
Yeah.
Up in the chopular region. Going into the well of Hullabaloo's songs, I actually really like playing the song "Money" a lot. It was originally written by EJ, who he had left the band, I think 2012, 2013 or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
He wrote a lot of it, and when we kind of changed over and Mike joined the band, I started singing it. We took it like way down tempo into like a Latin thing. I think I get a kick out of playing that one all the time. What was it? Shoot. Oh, Malaguena. Surprisingly, I occasionally work with this big band out in the Royal Oak area, and we were working on a Malaguena. So I was like, "Yeah, I'm taking first part on this and playing the solo. Thank you." I had we wound up not playing it for the concert, but I was like just bouncing in my freaking chair, like one of those things.
Now that piece is that, I don't know if that's like an Andante where there's several. But is there one main?
Oh, like
piece?
The opening of it, the Stan Kenton's cut of it, like the very opening solo of it. It's just beef, just good beef. humanely raised grass-fed beef.
All right.
So good, man. It's hard to describe, I guess. The Shotgun Soul, I don't know. I kind of liked everything that they did, so.
Yeah.
And now I'm kind of losing my train of thought.
That's okay.
There's definitely more, but those two stick out right now.
Yep. So if I've lost my train of thought tonight, I did taught online on Zoom all day. Then I attended a Board of Education meeting on Zoom that was actually I had to close because I was going to be late for you. So it's been too much Zoom. But I wanted to talk to you, Bill. I had to talk to you today. And after that board meeting, which was it was a great board meeting, but a little, considering the situation, kind of sad sometimes, to hear it. But it was good to hear the community talking like that. But I got to talk to Bill. He's going to cheer me up. Did you
let them know? Were they cool with it?
Oh, I was just watching. I was not a participant. Okay. Yeah, I was on mute and video closed. I didn't ask any questions.
Okay.
Or make any comments. Everybody made comments that were satisfactory. There's nothing I could add. I'm not that smart.
Oh,
I'm just a guitar player.
Hey, don't sell yourself so short.
Okay, so this is a one of my favorite questions. I was always curious to see what people do when I'm not, because I'm usually, if I'm around you, generally we're at a gig or we're at a rehearsal or we're at somebody else. It's music. We have instruments in our hands, really.
Yeah.
But what do you like to do outside of music, like just for fun? It could be geeky. Don't be afraid.
Well, since the pandemic broke and I was working at home for a while, I've been playing a lot of Dungeons and Dragons on Discord.
Geeky.
Yeah, very geeky. There was a point where we were having like sessions. This is a group of me and like my friends that I went to high school with. Like, we're all like in our mid to late 30s now. Some of them with kids and stuff, and like with careers. And we're like, I'm gonna roll to investigate this cave. It's one of those things that kind of kept us sane. But that was always kind of something I kind of enjoyed doing, even before the world ended. The other thing I like to do in my spare time, I really like gardening. It's kind of cathartic, but I've been doing that for like about 5 or 6 years. Like I have a big vegetable garden and stuff, and it seems to be like a skill that everybody has wanted to learn about ever since the pandemic exploded. Greenhouses everywhere are like sold out.
Yeah. Yep.
My favorite one closed down for the year, like a month ago. They have nothing left. Everybody bought them out.
Wow.
I think that's actually kind of a good thing. I'd rather see them. I'd rather see more people take it on just because it's kind of cool sometimes.
Yeah,
makes you go outside more, kind of relax and like meditate. You see a plant change as it goes on and stuff, and it's kind of weird how it works. But yeah, I really enjoy that.
Yeah, that's cool. Me too. And I think I find that common with some of the musicians I've talked to. All the gyms are closed, and I need to get some exercise, or the pain I started getting like crotchety, and I'm in pain. I'm a crotchety old man. But if I get out and move, I'm fine.
Oh yeah, cycling, riding my bike. Yeah. I'm not too far from Clinton River Park, so they've got an awesome trail system. It's pretty scenic, so yeah, I'll do that. I haven't been able to lately because I've had a lot of other stuff going on, but I also had to get my bike in, and because it was busted up. But that's gonna happen for sure. Yeah. The weather's starting to cool off a little bit, so
yeah, it's been the last couple of days. Yep.
Yeah.
Now you said, oh man, I lost my train of thought. What was I gonna say?
Get it together.
Oh. You said you were in your late 30s, right? Just then?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm older than you.
Oh. You don't look a day over 50.
I'm 62.
No, you're not.
All right, I think that's most questions. I'm just going to look over real quick because I actually have notes.
I don't.
Oh, you don't need them.
Oh, that's good.
No. Yeah. 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 My extra notes. We got it all, man. Covered it all.
Is everything?
Yeah.
Let me cover this shirt real quick.
Yeah. Sign of the times. Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a pro wrestling shirt, but it speaks volumes about everything right now.
Yeah. Well, what's that? There's a Doors line. These are the strangest days I've ever seen.
Yeah.
It's appropriate, too. Yeah. Cool. Well, we're going to cut one last time, and we're going to check out this awesome music.
In the palace of bones, up in a dreaming sky, there's a curious stranger coming